Howdy, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Texish, the show about some things Texas.
And some things not.
We've got our 101st episode
101, baby,
for you today. Still wearing the Buc-ee's gear, and make sure you check out the summer line as we speak. We got a couple of things to cover before we get out of the studio today.
Tito's and Shiner, gonna be an all-nighter, and I just might find her at the Whataburger line. Dance halls and women, but man, I'm wishing that I was fishing by the river tonight in Texas.
First, as always, your favorite segment.
And ours.
It's our not sponsor, still giving us no money.
Zero clout.
Providing nothing at all to help us keep this Texas machine going, but we love them anyway. It is our not sponsor, Seth, who is our first not sponsor for today's episode.
Our first not sponsor for today's episode is Bed Bath & Beyond. Bed Bath & Beyond. I've got so many 20% off discounts, I could basically buy the store for $10. It's Bed Bath & Beyond. Because who doesn't need a slap chop, bed sheets, and a stand mixer? It's Bed Bath & Beyond.
More like Bed Bath & Bankrupt, am I right?
Bed Bath & Beyond. Really, what's the Beyond part? Is there spirituality involved? Am I part of a cult? Bed Bath & Beyond.
Sure, I'd love to take a swim in a sea of potpourri.
Bed Bath & Beyond. Because really, I don't want to be judged for buying 20,000 thread count sheets for my tired ass. It's Bed Bath & Beyond.
You know what? Throw in a Ninja blender. I don't need it.
Bed Bath & Beyond.
They actually, if you're getting married, registration tip, Bed Bath & Beyond is great because they give you mugs and plateware for registering.
Oh, wow.
Total hack.
So just register.
So you go register, you walk out of there with new coffee mugs. It's pretty great.
And all you really have to do is buy like $10 candles.
Exactly.
And you're good.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
Also, only register for one set of plates and bowls.
Right. You don't need more.
You don't need more. Trust me.
You know, Texish podcast coming at you with comedy and life tips.
And life hacks.
Life hacks.
For as much as we make fun of it, here's a life hack for you.
Hack.
Find a spouse. Don't register for too many plates. Want to hear about our other not sponsor for today's episode of this podcast?
Who is our other not sponsor, Gunner?
Our other not sponsor is the carnivore diet. The carnivore diet. Would you suck Paul Saladino's dick if he said it was the source of ultimate protein?
The carnivore diet.
Black meat, red meat, white meat, yellow meat. We don't discriminate when we're on the carnivore diet. My burps smell like dog food. It's the carnivore diet.
I haven't pooped in 10 years. It's the carnivore diet. Really, just be a bro. Just say you don't like vegetables. It's the carnivore diet.
I got something in my teeth.
Is that steak? Is that,
I don't know.
Are you on
the carnivore diet?
It's keto for losers.
The carnivore diet. I've been on the carnivore diet since I've been eating kids' meals, I guess, you know, like, so just say you don't eat veggies.
Look,
it's fine. I am a little salty because I was a picky eater as a kid.
Are you a little salty because it's the carnivore diet?
Well, I'm salty because I was a meat and potatoes kid, right? I really just wanted to eat meat and potatoes. And I'm skewered as a kid all the time. Eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables.
And now all of a sudden, it's kitschy to just eat meat and potatoes. When did this why is this cool now? I'm so mad. I puked up carrots at the dinner table because I hated the way they tasted. You were there.
I was there, yeah.
And I had to finish them. I am convinced that you did that psychologically on purpose.
I did, dude. Back to the stories we were telling earlier.
You were such a little shit about your food. You were such a little pussy about like not eating vegetables. You son of a bitch. Like there is absolutely no reason a kid shouldn't be able to just digest a piece of broccoli. It was ridiculous. It was so bad. It was comedic.
You're being a bit cleft palate phobic right now.
You know what? It had nothing to do with your cleft palate.
You dick. You dick. No, you did not just go there. Come on.
I have a legitimate speech impediment, and meanwhile, you're like the one who gets sent to speech therapy.
What? You have a legit speech impediment?
No, not really.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait.
I just can't seem to shape my words correctly.
Well, that's anybody that's just talking for a living anyway.
Yeah.
But say whatever
my
you want.
diction is terrible.
And by the way, Jenny was on your side. She was always
what?
about just textured foods. There's foods that I don't like to eat.
That's everybody.
Because I gag and will throw up like carrots. And people would be like, that sounds like a lie. And then finally, one of our friends who's an occupational therapist, which apparently food therapy is a part of that, was explaining that it's really common for people with cleft palates to have a hard time eating like certain foods. And I've been off the hook ever since.
There you go.
Because of my disability.
That's fine. And to be, it was like cooked carrots. Is that the thing?
Just raw carrots.
Raw carrots?
Yeah.
More than
cooked carrots are fine. I can even do cooked carrots mixed with something like rice or something. But yeah, raw carrots.
What are the foods that are off the table right now?
Bananas for sure.
Yeah, I've seen you with bananas. It's hilarious.
Even if there's a banana near me, I don't want to.
And it is funny because you can do a smoothie.
I love smoothies.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know that I should get some of that
so
in.
that's why, like, I've always known you're a texture person.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you a hard time.
As you should.
But
bananas.
But it was so inconsistent. Like, and that's the thing. Like, you have to admit, like,
it is a little inconsistent.
It's a little inconsistent.
Well, because sometimes it's the way it feels.
It's
So Jell-O, right?
Yeah.
The way that looks like it feels tactilely.
Yeah. The way that your brain,
the way that my brain, don't.
So one of my favorite facts is your tongue knows how things feel.
Really?
If you look at something, your tongue can, like, just think about a thing or like look at that, and your tongue inherently knows how it feels. It's weird, right?
That's wild.
It's wild.
Yeah. So nanners, and so like super soft, right?
Right.
And then really really hard. So apples that crunch.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of getting.
There's
sick.
actually nothing worse than like a bad Red Delicious apple because it crunches and then it's soft and mealy and it like.
Seriously, what happened? Dude, I was like actually like feeling kind of sick.
Once upon a time in Texas history.
Once upon a time,
Gunner threw up after he ate carrots.
It was horrible, dude. So gross.
Oh man.
So what happened?
So once upon a time,
what happened?
In 1917, the Brenham Creamery was founded.
All right. Gotta love a callback.
So the Brenham Creamery was founded in 1917, and if you listen to last week's episode, you know what happened pretty soon after that. E.F. Crucy was brought on board to kind of turn the ship around.
Three different last names.
He's had three different, right? Crucy. No, it's Krusc, and it's I think the way you actually pronounce it. No, it's because they had a pronunciation guide in his son's obituary. So I'm pretty sure it's Cruzy.
Cruzy, okay.
I keep in my head when I see it, I say Cruise, but whatever.
Yeah.
So
whatever.
they bring on this guy to turn it around. They very quickly realize that ice cream is what's selling the best.
Okay.
So they start doubling down on that. And after the founding,
they're gonna milk it for what it's
Dude,
hell yeah.
I love it. You should go into comedy. You should have like a podcast or something.
Yeah, I'll try it.
So they start focusing on the ice cream. In 1930, they've changed the name to Bluebell.
Yeah.
And they buy this machine that is a consistent, like, it keeps everything frozen while it's making the ice cream.
Gotcha.
And it shifts dramatically their production rate. They go from doing like 10 gallons an hour to 50. So they more than doubled their capacity, right?
Yeah, and fire all those stupid women that are working at the
like,
factory.
Oh, what? We're
are we
out of a job?
now?
What are we going to do now? I have an idea.
Tune into YouTube.
So they explode, and rather than try and get distribution through a different company, they buy their own freezer trucks.
Really?
And so their expansion is completely based on their own ability to deliver their product. Okay. Kind of like In-N-Out, you know, they have kind of their own supply
They have that
lines.
radius of it has to be this close to our suppliers.
And EF committed to keeping everything intentional, small, and slow. So as they grew, they were able to sustain everything.
Because no one ever gets lost.
No one ever gets lost.
On a straight path.
Straight road, it doesn't matter.
Whatever.
He brings in his family, like his two sons start working in Bluebell.
Yeah,
nepotism. They eventually take over like CEO and manager, right? Yeah. They keep growing. They eventually get Howard's son, Paul, comes in after graduating A&M and being a lawyer for a while. He resists going into the business for like 3 years.
Okay, because it's not ExxonMobil.
And all the while they're growing.
Yeah.
Well, there's this interesting thing where it's called the cousin generation effect, where you have a family operated and run business. And because of that, you have like more entrenchment. Usually CEOs cycle every like 6 years. Yeah. And so they're slower to adopt new technologies and things like that. So Paul gets brought on. If you remember in 2015, Bluebell was in trouble. There was a Listeria outbreak.
Yeah, with all of their products.
Yeah. So they quickly recalled everything.
Yeah, they had to grab the bull by the horns.
This was the other one. Because
customers were having a cow.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, cool. So
sorry, they've been sitting. for a while. Well, they had to steer.
I was about to do that. Okay,
that's for the Glen Powell stuff.
Yeah, there you go. So they're writing. All these things are happening. Yeah. Paul goes, pull everything. So they pulled all their product, and this is in 2015. He gets indicted because he knew about it beforehand.
Oh, shoot.
So Blue Bell, to their credit, shifts everything. They shut everything down. They have to fire half their employees, and they redo all their safety
because they tried to bury it.
They tried to bury
it.
So it comes out after the investigation that he was aware that there was a problem and waited
down the line, right?
Well,
this got flagged. Yeah.
So part of the reason I bring this up is this month he made a plea bargain. So he pled guilty to a couple of the charges.
Gotcha. Which means he said yes.
Which means he said yes,
right?
I'm guilty.
Okay.
Initially, whenever they tried him, it was inconclusive. The jury couldn't come to a decision, so they tried him again.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what, plea bargain.
Yeah.
He's going to pay $100,000 based on the court's assessment of the damage he did, and then the company is on the hook for $19 million.
That is an interesting.
It's an interesting proportion, but
okay.
Yeah, and I think he's going to do I think it's time, under whatever.
Time and a half.
He's not going to do any jail time, but it's through all the process, something like that.
Yeah, he'll have to pick up a bottle on the side of the road.
And he obviously had to step down.
Yeah,
so
clearly.
Blue Bell is no longer a family run business.
Oh, the whole family got pushed out.
So there's still some of the family members, the chairman is a family member. They have
of the board, not
of the board. Paul was the general counsel.
Yeah.
Part of why he got in so much trouble.
Because he did something illegal.
Yeah, exactly. And so the new CEO had to go on the stand and say Paul knew about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you, get indicted.
When you get indicted. When you be indicted!
Subpoena! Weird word, subpoena.
Subpoena. You've been served.
Anyway, so Blue Bell gets bailed out by a Dallas billionaire to the tune of $125 million.
Was it Jerry Jones?
No, it wasn't Jerry Jones.
Just somebody else.
Somebody else. So the board and this billionaire bail out Blue Bell because we all love it so much.
Because we still want it.
So this little creamery started in Brenham, Texas, gets so big and popular that when they're about to fail, they get bailed out by Texans.
Bailed out
by the people
Texans.
who love it.
That is pretty cool.
Blue Bell was so popular. President Bush had a standing order for what's the camp he went to?
Lady Lodge?
No, the
fish camp. What did we?
The camp the president's hideout at. I can't remember the name of it.
I went to this camp?
No, that he went to.
Oh, that he went to.
Yeah.
Is it George Washington's estate?
Maybe.
Thing?
Anyway, he had a standing order there every 2 weeks. They would replenish with Blue Bell. Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Yeah, I also love that if Ben and Jerry's not even had a listeria outbreak, had something in their product that could kill you, if they just came out and said being gay is a choice, they would shut down immediately. It would revolt to the point that it gets brought down to the ground. Blue Bell tries to kill you and knows about it, and Texans are still
it only killed a few people.
It only happened once.
It's look, have you tried the new Dr. Pepper flavor? It's worth it.
Good.
It's worth it.
Even the homemade vanilla, I just need it.
I just need it in my belly.
And you know what?
I need my tiny skillet.
Less weight on our shoulders. So
yeah.
Yikes. Yeah. Gotta get rid of that heifer, am I right?
So that is the founding of Blue Bell as we know it today.
That is awesome. I mean, not, but it is awesome.
Well, and here's just a fun fact. Part of the reason people like Blue Bell so much is the actual fat content and weight. Yeah. So per gallon, it's 52 ounces, whereas Dryers is 40 something.
Really?
So there's actually, it's a denser ice cream than
shows.
A lot of them. And it shows.
It's the thickiness. Yeah. I like the thickiness of it. So good.
So there you go.
Heck yeah. Well, I love that. I really went Blue Bell now.
Yeah.
Small town of the week.
Small town of the week. Where is it? It's Brenham, Texas. Obviously, it's Brenham,
clearly,
Texas.
You're just clearly.
I'm just going down the
You landed on Brenham's Wikipedia page or Blue Bell's and just decided this.
Well, I knew I was going to do Blue Bell's and I'll sponsor, and
it's a great segment.
And I was like, you know what? Let's just go all the way in.
Yeah, do it.
So Brenham, Texas, population 17,000.
Population, the Blue Bell factory.
It is the county seat of Washington County, very close to A&M, 40 minutes away. Yeah.
Home of where the original Texas Republic capital would have been.
One of the coolest things about Brenham is it is part of what they call the Original 300, which is the first legal Anglo exploration and settlement into Texas. So it is one of the first legal 300 seats that was established by Stephen F. Austin.
Yep.
And that's Brenham, Texas.
That's cool. And it's beautiful country.
It is beautiful country. Yeah, whenever people talk about Texas being beautiful, that's what they're talking about.
That's where they're talking about. What? They're not talking
about
Monahan
the Permian Basin.
Oh, God. They're not talking about Kermit, Texas? Come on.
I mean, we literally call Seminole Seminole. Like that. It's not pretty country.
It's not very pretty.
You don't go to Big Spring and go, wow.
Whoa. You go there and you're like, Ryan Tannehill? Okay. Yeah. Damn. Oh man, I love Yeah, me and Jenny went to Washington on the Brazos. Yeah. And it's not as put together as you would think it is, but it is still cool to be there and think this log cabin is where the first attempt at a Capitol started, and then they literally thought it's way too hot here and way too humid. We have to move this.
And then somebody tried to move it to Houston.
Yeah.
Let's move it to something hotter and wetter.
I did finally visit Houston a little bit more. Houston's pretty cool.
Houston's dope.
It is the only city in Texas and really the South where you can go to a Chinatown or a Little Italy or a Koreatown. That's pretty dope.
Houston was supposed to be the New York of Texas, and it didn't quite work out that way.
From a tourism standpoint. From a trade standpoint, it's the second or first biggest port city in the country. US, which also means it's where all the sex trafficking happens. But we're trying to put a stop to that. That was dark. Anyway, do you want to hear about our Texas Badass of the Week? Who is it? Wait, try it again. Who is it? Our Badass of the Week is Abraham Alexander. If you are not spinning Seasons by Abraham Alexander, his newest album, please stop the podcast.
Just go listen.
We'll wait. Dude, this guy is so cool.
Where did he come from? This is amazing.
Origins, dude. If I ever meet Abraham Alexander in person, I would maybe cry.
Yeah.
Not just because I'm in front of somebody who's so immensely talented and clearly just a beautiful person.
Yeah.
His story is insane. So he, a Nigerian family that I don't think he might have been born in Greece, but he's raised in Greece as a child. And his Nigerian family is in Greece, and they encounter severe racism in Greece. He told a story in an interview where his family's in this convenience store and he knocked a bag of chips off the rack. So we picked it up and put it back on the rack. And the store owner said, "Why are you doing that? We can't sell those chips anymore. Like, how dare you? We can't sell those now because he touched the bag of chips." So they moved to America to get out of that situation. But I mean, this young kid is growing up with the Parthenon as his playground and but they're also encountering this insane racism. So they move to America and end up in Texas. Yeah. A few years later, he loses his mom in a drunk driving accident. And it's one of those classic atrocious stories where like the drunk driver kills someone else, loses his mom, loses one of his brothers along the way too, gets adopted by a family in Arlington, was probably never going to pick up a guitar because he had a pretty tumultuous relationship, complicated, a few of the interviews I listened to with his dad, who was a jazz musician. So he considered never playing music.
Right.
By happenstance, from what I understand, one day he's walking by a studio where people are loading in amps and they ask him, like he's walking by and they just asked him, "Can you sing?" And he said no. And they asked, "Can you hum?" And he said yes. He ends up being the person that's humming on Coming Home by Leon Bridges.
Okay, yeah.
So like we first hear Abraham Alexander through a Leon Bridges song. And when you listen to his music, you can hear the Leon Bridges influence a little bit. And Leon told him, start going to open mics. Yeah. Like start playing guitar, start writing songs, get into this. Yeah. And fast forward to right now, he just in April dropped Seasons, his first studio album.
It's gorgeous.
So good.
I legitimately cried.
Yeah, dude.
Jake's having some fun.
Jake's
Jake, are you having a seizure?
Jake,
what's going on, man?
Do you fall face first on the soundboard in there? But yeah, the Seasons is amazing. Yeah. He's touring throughout the U.S. this year, headlining his first shows in Europe this summer. So just, from possibly not picking up a guitar to what I see is probably going to be one of our Grammy award-winning artists.
Give him a year.
Not from Texas, but coming out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah,
just
honorary Texas.
This immaculately talented and then when you watch him interviewed, of course, just the kindest,
graceful. Because I've seen a few interviews. Yeah,
just seems like one of the most gentle souls you could ever meet. This insane
it so perfectly highlights bringing art into Texas and the way that we can nurture that. And I love seeing it.
Love seeing it. Love listening to it. So Abraham Alexander, we're huge fans.
Massive fans.
Please, guy, come to the show anytime you want. You are welcome anytime.
Standing
invitation. Go check out Abraham Alexander. Art into Texas. We gotta get through this.
Really quickly. 5 minutes.
So Glen Powell dropped basically a campaign with Matthew McConaughey, Dennis Quaid,
Woody
Harrelson, and not Tommy Lee. Billy Bob Thornton is in it. Where they're basically talking about a bill that's in the House right now that is going to make or break funding to bring more film into Texas.
Because a lot of that works by tax credits, essentially.
Exactly.
Different states get them at different points in time and they promote them or not.
Yeah.
And there's so many beautiful stories to tell that take place in Texas or could be filmed
and it's
here.
such a diverse ecosystem.
Exactly.
You can get beach shots, desert, you can get the desert, you can get the high plains, you can get the rugged hill country.
You can even get swamps. Like
you can even get mountains technically.
Yeah. There are so many options. So we really want the tax credits. We really want that bill to pass. And I would love to see more film being made here, especially with the recent announcement of one of our good friends.
Yeah. You go ahead.
No. So the podcast Boomtown, very, very popular. Our buddy Christian Wallace was at the helm of that. And they, Taylor Sheridan picked it up and they turned it into plucked it out, and he's going to put it in the Taylor Sheridan shared universe
because Paramount has said we don't need money.
Paramount was just like, Taylor, you can do whatever you want.
This is now the Taylor Sheridan network. So they finally
brought to you by Taylor Sheridan.
We've known this is in the works, but they finally dropped the cast. They're going to start filming Landman.
Yeah.
Again, big ups to Christian Wallace.
Huge ups.
You deserve it, man.
It's just so cool to be from a town with so much talent.
Well, I mean, it's so cool to, we know him. We're not super close friends.
No, but like we know him.
But we know him. We from the same town. Yeah. It's that thing where like, okay, well, if Christian Wallace can do that, we can do this. Like, this is possible because that's possible. Yeah. But it is, Taylor Sheridan is doing a lot of work to showcase Texas, to showcase Texas stories.
Texas is coming up.
Texas
There's
talent.
a lot of filming in Fort Worth.
A lot. Fort Angeles.
And it just it makes me want to dive in again. Yeah. And it makes me really excited about the future of Texas film.
Yeah, exactly. Well, really quick, just get out of the way.
Please.
The funniest part about the Landman press release, because they do the press release, here's who's in it.
Yeah.
And I see the announcement come into my iPhone update, announcing Landman, and I think, gee, which super hot blonde chick is playing the super hot blonde chick in this Taylor Sheridan film? Right. Pull it up, and it's the girl from 1883. Like, of course. God forbid there be a hot brunette in a Taylor Sheridan flick.
No, it's not allowed.
Yeah, man, when he makes a film about Nazis, wow.
He's actually not allowed to touch it because it's just like it's too much.
Whoa, this is too pretty.
This is too pretty. He can't touch it because he can't be objective.
True. Yeah, exactly.
Hey Taylor, this is really sympathetic toward the wrong side. What?
Well, it'd be more like, Well, what would suck is like, damn it, it's still good though. It's still really good writing.
Really good.
So Landman is finally they're announcing it. That's in production. If we get the tax credits, what is the one thing you want to see happen here in Texas with film?
I would really like to see Austin become a hub of talent and actual cinema.
And you mean actual talent,
I mean actual talent. I mean, like, I want this to be the new Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because there's not a centralized place in Texas where a lot of stuff is filming. A lot of it's in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And if it became Fort Worth, I'd be happy about that as well.
And honestly, a lot of Fort Worthians would be happy about it as well.
I want an industry to come here and make actual roots. The way that like Marvel did in Atlanta. I want that to happen.
Like a franchise
right now,
to...
Texas is just like, oh, we film here sometimes.
Yeah.
And I want it to be like, no, we're in the same conversation as Los Angeles and Atlanta. Yeah. Like we're right here.
And not in the Austin's fun or Austin's cool way, but like
no,
I live in Austin because I get work here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Yeah. What about you?
That. I just want I keep thinking of now I feel bad forgetting the name. The documentary, the nature documentary we watched. Why can't I think of the name of it?
It's because you're on the spot.
Gosh dang it. Whatever it was.
Texas Planet.
It was basically Planet Earth, but just Texas. And it was showcasing from west all the way to east the completely diverse ecosystems and environments.
And it's amazing.
We have in Texas. So what I'm excited to see is the stories that come out of those places, but also the landscape itself being showcased.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we lose business to New Mexico because right to work and because we don't have the tax credits. It would be awesome to see they're actually filming some of these war stories in the Davis Mountains.
Yeah.
Because you'd rather be in Texas than in New Mexico. They're actually filming this at sea story in the Gulf of Mexico because you can actually get there and it's accessible. So I want to see that. And then what was your favorite part about the Glen Powell ad that came out?
How honest, this is not important. I really enjoyed how crazy Billy Bob Thornton clearly is.
He's so crazy.
He's such a loon, and I love it.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna be like, my name's Billy Bob Thornton, and I share scars with Johnny Depp. I thought that's what he was gonna say.
I didn't know what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you look at the way he's dressed, and you're like, what are you doing?
What is going
on here?
Like, he literally looks like him and Caitlyn Jenner swapped clothes.
A little bit.
Freaking wild. Yeah. But it works in a weird way.
Well, what about you? What was your favorite part?
My favorite part was how there wasn't an Uber driver because they showed some of the gaffers and the DPs or I think they showed a catering person.
Yeah,
which was cool because I don't think and I've now learned in the past few months when you're on a film set, it's not just actors and a camera. No. It's hundreds of people.
That's the smallest part of the set.
That's the smallest part and maybe the least expensive. I mean, when you're feeding a crew of 300 people for 5 weeks, someone has to make the food.
Somebody's making the food.
And so it was cool that they showed the catering people, the gaffer, the lighting.
The film industry is responsible for a ton of jobs.
Because they showed Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey and even Glen Powell, there was a part that was like, why can't we also show the Uber driver that's like, hey, I'm Dave, and I've been selling weed to Matthew McConaughey for like 30 years. And
dude, Matthew McConaughey's weed dealer has a penthouse in the largest.
But I wish they would have shown the guy. Hey, I'm the pot dealer.
Hi, I'm Kyle.
Hey, I'm Kyle. And sorry we didn't break the record, but it would have been really cool. It'd be cool if there were more actors here because they buy the good stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's so many drug dealers that are like, can we please get more film? Because they pay high dollar for some low quality shit.
Okay, one Texas story you hope gets told.
Oh, do you already have one of mine?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, because now there's so many stories.
There's so many stories, yeah. I mean, I honestly, based on all the stuff I did looking into Brenham and Bluebell, I want to see a story that's the indictment of Paul. I want to see all three generations told concurrently. So you get the founding,
the origin,
the growth, and the fall,
and the corruption
as the same. I want to see that happen.
Trademark.
I think there's a really cool story to be told.
That is, and visually that'd be a really cool thing, especially if it was probably like great grandson, grandson, or son, grandson original, right? Yeah. Like that would be sort of the
really cool. Yeah,
that'd be really freaking cool.
It'd be fun.
I would go one of two directions.
Sure.
I would either want to do a like. I just you remember the movie Meet the Deedles?
Yes,
and Surf
movies.
Ninjas.
Yeah.
I would want to make a surf rat movie, right. a Linkletter surf rat movie about Galveston.
Cool.
Like the tanker surfers that fish for redfish all summer, don't have a job, and are so obsessed with the sick waves that they get twice a year that are hip high.
Yeah.
Either that movie, or I would want to make a really almost Disney-esque feel good sports movie about a either 6-man football team that either the coach is going through something and they've got to win the state championship or what I know or like even the 1999 Andrews High School baseball
I was gonna
team. Say that movie or then there's the third one. It's Texas-esque based. There was a running back in Mississippi that was highly touted. They made an E60 documentary about him. It's called The Greatest That Never Was.
Yeah.
And he was out of Mississippi and being recruited by UT and OU. And there was this really interesting dynamic where it was Barry Switzer and it wasn't Mac Brown, but it was 2 white coaches, and then the running back coaches were black running back.
Yeah.
So they send the running back. That was really good.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. Good luck.
See, one of my favorite things is making you laugh.
That was really good, and I've never heard that before. But comedy. It's a Texas-ish story. Yeah. I want to tell the story of Earl Campbell going to recruit that guy and losing.
Yeah.
Because he ends up going to OU. Yeah. So, and it's just that interesting dynamic of white head coach.
We've talked about this before.
Yes. And there's something there. There's a story there of almost having to compromise your values to get a guy to come to your school.
Yeah.
Knowing that, like, you're going to make other people richer before you make money. And the race tension there's a story there that I want to tell.
All right, maybe we'll tell these stories.
Yeah, maybe, because if we get the tax credits, so let's get those tax credits. Thank you for watching. There's more important outside.
I know we gotta wrap.
We gotta get out of here. Like, share, subscribe, follow TexasPod.com. Buy merch, buy t-shirt. Check out Bucky's summer merch. We love you all. Bye, y'all.
Howdy, everyone. Thank you so much for enjoying this episode of Texish. If you liked it, subscribe.
That way, anytime new reels or new episodes come out, you'll be the first one to know. It also, frankly, help us keep doing something that we love. We hope you love it too. If you've been listening for a while or you're a new listener, go to our store at TexishPod.com. We've got a couple of t-shirts there. You can see one of them right here. They're really good, really high quality, and frankly, we just think they're the best. So go buy a shirt, make sure you subscribe, and thanks for tuning in.
Bye, y'all.